Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Chevalric, and today I just want to have a quick chat with you guys about the recent Easter event and holiday events in general. It's something that's been on my list of videos to make for actually 2 years now, where I actually wanted to make a video of like, stop doing holiday events, but it changed just a little bit, and I want to review the current event, but also talk about the future of these events, the repeatable aspect of it, as in the token stores, and the main issue that a lot of people have, and rightfully so, of it being the only piece of actual content that we have pretty much gotten this year, besides the Owl quest and the other quests that we're going to be getting in later this month, in April, because the next thing or big thing that comes after it is actually another timed event. So yeah, let's talk about everything. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about everything. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and let's just talk about it. Editing Chef coming in. I'm really sorry that there's no gameplay of the Easter event. For some reason, my recorder is recording in like 10 FPS and there's no way for me to quickly fix it. And I'm making this one day before going on holiday and I won't be able to fix it and get this video out. So I'm sorry that you're looking at fishing gameplay instead of Easter bunnies. I hope you still enjoy it. First things first, I want to give credit where credit is due. This event is actually really good. As someone who just doesn't really care for these events, that doesn't really like them, I think they did a fantastic job overall with this event. The area looks absolutely stunning with some incredible details like the Togepi egg and the bunnies that power up the machines, which is obviously a nice play on the hamsters powering up machines. I think that's really cool. The quest was cute and like the most RuneScape holiday event-ish quest there is. And the egg hunt is absolutely incredible. I really like the egg hunt. I mean, the daily egg hunt, I don't really care for. I don't have negative nor positive feelings about it. It's just kind of there. Like, it's cool. Like, I feel like it's one of those things, if you've done it once or twice, you don't really care for it anymore unless you really want to reward. Because, quite frankly, it gives you a casket that you can make quite a bit of money out of if you just keep on getting fortunate. If you do it for the time of the event, which I think it's running for 3 weeks. You're lucky every single day with a fortunate. That's an easy 20 million GP that you can make with it. But as I said, I personally don't really care for it. However, the community egg hunt and just the weekly egg hunt that there is, I really do care for. I think that is really sick and I would love to see that return next year, as I really just liked solving the riddles and then going to that place and it's spawning there, or you have to talk to an NPC, or you need to do whatever else you had to do. I think it was really cool and I just really want to give them credit for it. The only kind of feedback point that I have, and I guess this is more of a streamer complaint than a player complaint, but hey-oh, I'm still gonna give it because this is my YouTube channel, is that the results of even week 2 were on the wiki at week 1 before the event was even out. Like, that kind of sucked because I'm not going to bore you with how they got on there. Like, they didn't do anything illegal, just kind of how, you know, the data works when they upload this event, whatever. They're able to extrapolate all the locations from it. That's pretty much what the wiki did. And they put it on there, and there's nothing illegal about it because that's just kind of how things go. I would have, however, loved if Jagex said, at least for the first hour, that these locations weren't allowed to be public, so there was a little bit more of a communal aspect of trying to find everything and figure everything out. Now, on the flip side of things, it is also important to look what this means for the future of these types of events. What are they going to be doing next year with it? Because quite frankly, they built this entire event up from scratch, taking out a lot of dev time, and quite frankly, for the first 6 months of the game, as it stands right now, there isn't much new content for us to play besides pretty much timed events, where now we're getting the Easter event and we're going to get a new summer event. By the sounds of it, they're going to, I guess, change things. I don't think the beach is coming back, but they're going to give us something similar to it. I'm not exactly sure, but by the sounds of it, it's going to be a little bit different. Of course, we're going to get that new quest, which by the sounds of it is probably going to be really cool and whatever. But we've gotten 2 pieces of permanent content that are major, besides maybe the area reworks that we're getting, that are new piece of content for us to play. And besides that, it's just been timed events like Easter and, well, whatever the summer event is going to be. And before that, we had the Christmas event. I think having these events is not a bad thing if it's on top of having actual content. But if it's the only content we're having, it's kind of concerning. I do want to give Jagex a little bit of leeway, is that if they're future-proofing these events where they're just going to add on top of it, like copy-paste this burrow to next year and then just add a new quest, a little new area or new skilling method and a new egg hunt, I'm not concerned about it because quite frankly, then it's just building on top of it, and it should, in theory, be a lot less work than it is right now, because at most you need to design a small little new area. The quest is using the same assets, it's just laying out a quest, and hunt is also just adding in new locations. Like, on paper, that shouldn't be too much, or at least not as much as developing an entire area with so many details and many mechanics that work just slightly different to what we already have in RuneScape. And that is very important, because quite frankly, and that's where my own concern comes in with events like these, is I don't like the repeatable aspect of it. Like, I don't like that you grind out a shop with these tokens. And my main reason for it is, as someone who's completed the entire shop, which took me 40 hours, by the way, with the booster, it's one, very long, two, it's extremely boring, and it's just, look, they are not designed, these shops, to be able to fully be completed by your average Joe, so to say. Like, the idea of these shops is you get your tokens and you buy the cosmetics that you want. Obviously, there are people like me who like to grind it out, and I'm gonna go out and say it, I think it's very realistic to grind out because it's pretty much zero input and it's very easy to grind out. So if you really care about everything, just sit on one of the machines, AFK for the entire event. Obviously, you can't do that now anymore if you're starting, but you get the point, and you grind out the entire shop. Like, I don't think the balancing on it is horrible. I think they can maybe buff the rates a little bit, but not like by 50% or something. I think they can buff it by like 20 or 30%. But the activities themselves are nothing to write home about. Like, the experience rates are bad. The only thing you really do it for are the tokens, and the activities themselves aren't like extremely exciting that make you go, oh wow, this is such a cool method, we should have this as a permanent thing in the game. Not at all. It's just, you know, the same boring stuff. And besides it being boring and, you know, people arguing that it should be good experience, which I completely disagree with, because then you get the thing that happens with the whole is people don't like dungeoneering. There's an AFK dungeoneering method that is pretty decent at the beach, then people go do that every single year, besides that they don't train dungeoneering. That's not what you want as a company, and that's not what you should want as a player. You should want a good method to train it, instead of having to wait every single year for an event to go around. So adding good experience rates, in my eyes, is not a good thing to it. But as I said, I don't like the repeatable aspect of it, because what you're gonna have, and the feeling that we're gonna have in general with this, is that this event will feel like a copy and paste next year, just with a new quest and a new hunt. And I like the whole hop idea, and I think if that's what they want to be doing, like with the whole repeatable aspect of it, if they want to keep that in, then I think this copy paste format is really good. But quite frankly, what I am personally looking for in these events is I log in, I do the new mini quest, I interact with Easter, do this hunt in this case because I generally really like it, and after like maybe an hour, in this case an hour every week for the entirety of the event, or hour and a half, however you want to put it, and then you're done with it. You go on with whatever you're doing. If we look at the old events that we had back in the day, you logged in, did the quest, and that was it. There was nothing repeatable to it, and I was fine by that. Like, quite frankly, I'm gonna say something, and this might be controversial. I'm not too certain, but I think a lot of people that asked for these events, because it was one of the most feedback points in the previous year, ever since I started taking real feedback again, is that they wanted these events to be quests again. But quite frankly, I think that is just mainly nostalgia, because if you go play old school RuneScape right now, they have these quests like they have the exact quest we had back in the day, right? And it's just kind of, you know, boring. Like, I don't really care for it. And a lot of people don't really care for it. It's like a cool little thing, and they use it to train up their developers, which I think is a really cool thing. And it's I don't know, man. I think it's nostalgia. I think people are just looking at it from a nostalgic lens. When they were kids, it was really cool. But quite frankly, as you get older, at least I get older, I care less and less about these holidays. Like, to me, they're just days now. I mean, I might be the Grinch, whatever, but overall, I think it's just mainly nostalgia, but hey, I might be wrong with it. But I just think that they should remove the whole repeatable aspect, but then again, it's kind of a waste making this entire hub for this repeatable aspect. So at this point, just leave it in, I guess. I will just ignore it next year because I've completed everything. I'll just complete next year's cosmetics and then leave again. But obviously, the main issue is that it's the only piece of content that we're getting. And that is something that I hope next year, when I feel like we can really start judging these holiday events, because this year it's been used to lay the groundwork for it. I think next year we can start judging these events, and I think we can make a decision as a community, or at least a better decision in my eyes, if we want them or not, and if these events are valuable to RuneScape or not. Obviously, that will always be personal opinion, and I want to know yours in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you are new, and subscribe to the second channel if you got to this point, because I upload videos there about once every week, 2 weeks, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.